Angels Orioles game ends on a pretty bang bang play, and it wasn't so much the bang bang play. It wasn't missing that call that rubbed me the wrong way. It was the review process. We talk all the time about how the review process is supposed to get it right. That's why we introduced this thing. Baseball didn't introduce the review process just for kicks and giggles. They didn't, I'm guessing at least, I don't know their ultimate motives, but I'm just going to assume that they didn't introduce the pitch clock to waste people's time. They introduced it because they wanted to get more calls right, so they didn't have to hear it from people every single game about how their umpires got the call wrong. They said, all right, we're tired of it. We're going to put in cameras everywhere so that we can't get it wrong. Well, they got it wrong today. And I don't understand how that happens. How do you have camera angles, multiple camera angles around the ballpark, slow motion? You know, that funny enough, that was one of my biggest gripes up until probably a year or two ago, year and a half ago, where we could see a speck of dust on the surface of the moon. But for some reason, Major League Baseball replay reviews were in like 2 frames a second, like -12 HD. I never understood. It's almost as if the people in the production trucks are like etching it in stone, etching the play as it develops in stone, and then that's what we checked back on. Fortunately, we fixed that. We've gotten a little better with the quality and the clarity, so we're able to see some of these calls a little bit better. But to that point, how are we getting this one wrong? How are we getting the Joe Adele steal attempt into second today in the Angels-Orioles game? How are we getting that wrong? It very clearly was foot to bag, glove to, what was it, his waist. Very, like, clear as day. I don't know what we're looking at. And the credit to the Angels broadcast. I know the Angels get the short end of the stick when it comes to jokes from baseball fans around the league. But I got to give props to their broadcast team today. They made it known just how horrendous of a call that was. I don't know if you've seen that clip. I honestly hadn't seen it until maybe like an hour before I hopped on this recording. So I would recommend you go check that out after you wrap up listening to this podcast. But I'm all about like transparency and honesty on a call like that. It's like, spare me the cliches, the standard MO for broadcasters. Like, let me know how you're really feeling. Just let me know. And they did. And it was in the heat of the moment. It was funny. They were prefacing it by saying, well, if this call goes the way we think it should, and then immediately, like seconds later, the umpire's like, the call stands, the runner is out. And they just let it eat. And we need more of that. If these umpires aren't going to hold themselves accountable, broadcast teams, baseball fans, we are going to have to keep holding them accountable ourselves, because they're surely not going to do it. And hopefully somebody in a position of power, I don't know who that is. I don't know if it's Manfred. I don't know if it's a faction within Major League Baseball that could ultimately make the move, but somebody needs to be consistently made aware just how bad these umpires are. And I'm hoping 2024 sees more of that this trend continues, because I think the umpires are trash momentum is picking up. But again, that goes back to my conspiracy that I think that's what Major League Baseball wants. So maybe we should tread a little lighter on that. if you are a fan of the umpires and the human element, which I am. I love I love being able to get on here and just talk about missed calls and how umpires missed it. That's all baseball's ever been. And I'm not saying it has to be that way forever. I know I understand baseball changes, but this is the people pulling for robo umps, the same people that thought we'd have flying cars by now. In other words, the technology is just not there yet. And I think it applies with the robo umps. I don't think we've seen a widespread enough effort made to perfect or get as close to perfection as we can with the robo ump, the robo strike zone, whatever you want to call it. I don't think we've gotten to that point, and I think it's only going to make matters worse. So at the very least, if we're going to be complaining regardless, let us complain about the umpires because, like I said, somebody needs to hold them accountable.